Thanks for joining us again. We've decided after, I believe I said, Jared, in the last episode that we seem to ignore people who contact us out of the blue and say we'd like you to cover this film.
Yeah.
We go, yeah, no worries. Let's watch Double Trouble.
Yeah. We read the request and then assume they meant to send it to a reputable podcast that's covering films.
Yeah, it's like, no. You've got the wrong group. If you want Double Trouble or Collision Course, fucking perfect.
You're coming to the right place.
But no, Matt, one of our listeners, sent us an email a little while back. He put it out there to watch a 1997 Kurt Russell thriller, Breakdown, which was perfectly placed on YouTube, Jared. Quick rant. How the fuck does a movie like this not available on streaming?
It's like we've spoken about before. It's like the 90s never existed. In
film. I'm like, oh,
if
shit.
you go to Netflix, you wouldn't be able to...
Yeah, give me something from the 90s.
You think Hollywood shut down in the 90s or something.
Yeah. So you can't find this one on streaming. I believe you can pay $6 for it on Apple. Mm-hmm. But we found it on YouTube. Pretty clean copy too.
It was quite solid.
Yeah, exactly. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah. Matt, good work there putting us onto that. So we'll cover that. But before we get to that, a quick whip round. I know we're recording regularly and asking this question, but anything. Have you watched anything?
Malignant.
You got through it after 4 goes.
I think it was about 5.
So obviously you were pretty happy with it.
Finished it up. No, look, it wasn't bad. It was just, as I said, you put it down to me just being a fucking fool last time. I put it down to some fatigue. I finally just got a chance to sit down and knock it over. Right. So, yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's... Once you start getting the twists, it's way out there. It's very, very unique, I guess you could say, in that regard. But it was a bit of fun. Okay. James Wan always brings something to the table. I like the way he directs, so you get some slick sequences fresh in there, but it's bordering on sheer lunacy.
Okay, well, shit, right up our alley then.
Yep.
Anything else?
That was it.
No. All right. We knocked over an entire short series on Netflix called Keep Breathing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty good. I was pretty happy. It was a survival type of drama, I would say, because a lot of it's flashbacks to her life. And the survival stuff, I think, plays out pretty well. They actually try their best to make it seem realistic, e.g., nothing seems to work the majority of the time. Like, because she's not seasoned, you're guessing at a lot of things, and I think that they do a pretty good job with that. They make it fairly realistic on that front. Overall, pretty good. My wife was a bit disappointed in the ending. I kind of saw the ending for what it was, but my wife sort of was more about, she wanted a bit more of an explanation.
Yep.
But definitely worth your time, especially at 6 episodes, a half hour an episode. So you're not really that heavily invested. Maybe it's 3 hours. 3 hours of your life. Well, fuck, you'll give that up watching Malignant 4 times. That's so right. There you go.
I didn't restart it every time.
Yeah, but you only got 5 minutes into it every time.
There was a couple of times where I got 5 minutes in and then basically rewatched it again. So
okay.
I think there was 2 nights where I
you rewound.
Got the 5 minutes, I rewound, I fell asleep before the point I'd fallen asleep the previous night. So that was a waste of my time.
Thank you, fucking grandpa. Now, I'm going to do a quick up or down, just to throw it in. The new Sylvester Stallone film on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Samaritan, which I believe we heard about a little while back.
Yep.
Debuted its trailer and poster, I believe, this week. I was pretty impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, I liked it.
It feels standard. It feels pretty standard. But I liked kind of the idea they were going with, and I think it looked like it could be a bit of an action-packed type of run.
Yeah. Well, it's just a pretty good idea that's been tried a few times. It hasn't really been kind of nailed yet. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think Sylvester can nail it?
Cutting together beautifully.
Oh,
I bet Sylvester's going to tell us that.
Don't tell me that, Sylvester. Shut your mouth and just let it happen.
Yeah, look, the trailer didn't blow me away, but I'm in for the idea. I like that you've cast Stallone, so you've got a little bit of that kind of Hollywood sort of parallel to go with it. Sylvester's love the bloke, but he's a past his prime actor who used to play those heroic roles, so he kind of fits perfectly for that.
Is he though?
Is he what?
Is he past his prime?
Yes.
Because I'm going to say this.
No, he's still capable of
this hound me down if you feel like it. Yeah. But I actually think there are some parallels between Stallone and Cruise. Not currently. No. What I mean is,
I must have missed Sylvester's $1 billion picture that was in the cinemas recently. I forgot Rambo made. I forgot Last Blood made $1 billion. It was a cracking film. I forgot about that.
Okay, no. Allow me to explain.
Okay.
Both of them have been around forever. Both of them have had careers that have kind of had those hits, but have also dabbled in drama and have had, almost, Oscar nominations and things like that for both of them. And they're both still headlining films. Okay, Cruise's headlining is in the cinemas to the tune of a fucking $1.5 billion. Stallone's on Amazon Prime.
Stallone's cracking out Escape Plan 4 as we speak.
I know. And I must admit, there's definitely, if you looked at the two resumes, Stallone's got a lot more dogs in the kennel. I think. You know what? I'm actually going to throw this out there, Jared, for an up-and-coming episode, but we should do a Cruise Olympics. Because I actually think he might be the guy that takes the top prize.
Maybe.
He would have a genuine shot, I would have thought. But yes, okay.
Look at you. You are just right back on the cruise train.
Oh, mate. That fucking thing went past and I chased it down.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have not been his biggest fan for a while.
No, not at all.
But he pulled me back in with Pete Maverick Mitchell, who I said was a fucking sex pest last time I saw him.
I think you might still just have a little bit of jet fuel in the blood that we're working through.
I do. I mean, look, there's a bit to sort of still pass.
No, but I agree with Stallone, and I think...
But I think what I'm saying is there's still actors that have... I mean, Cruise is only in his 50s. Yeah. No, 60. Yeah. Sorry. Sylvester's 75.
Yeah, so...
There's got a bit of room on him. But they've both hung around and are still... When you say Sylvester Stallone, even to the youngsters, most people would know it. Know who he is. Yeah. Same with Tom Cruise.
And I laugh, but Sylvester's like... Some of his very good films are still recently.
Creed.
Stuff like the Creed films.
Even the Expendables to a degree.
Yeah,
shit movies, but they were very successful.
Yeah.
I think he should steer clear of Expendables 4, although I believe that's currently happening.
Well, Rambo's probably on hiatus, so you got to go back to something, don't you?
And, like Cruise, Stallone never said... He ages, but he's still fucking game.
Yeah.
I mean, the man... He's a physical specimen for 75.
Oh, of course.
Right? Wrinkly physical specimen, but a physical specimen nonetheless.
Correct.
So, again, the parallel with Cruise is that they're both still very capable from the action genre.
Yeah.
Look, Stallone's not jumping fucking building to building, right? So Cruise has got 15 years on the bloke.
Cruise should probably stop jumping building.
But you know what, though? I cannot believe I'm saying he's got 15 years on the bloke, so it's all right for him to jump from building to building. He's fucking 60. He's fucking 60 years old. When I should be saying it should be Sylvester's 60 and Cruise is 45, and I'll let you jump from building to building.
Yeah.
So I just felt that was an interesting parallel.
Yeah.
Because both actors still seem to be quite popular.
Mm.
Even though they're what you'd call...
A little more popular than the other. Currently.
Yeah, currently. But I guess I appreciate Stallone's ability to kind of, like, stay relevant.
Yeah.
For a guy who's been punching shit out since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Which I appreciate. That's what I like about the bloke. He just does not go away.
Yep.
So I'm a fan, and that's why I've got a thumbs up for this one.
Yep. I'm right there with you. I believe you also had a little something to say about Shudder too. Kind of expand on that a little bit.
Well, I've had a lot to say about Shudder, but I was under the impression, Jared, and please correct me if I'm wrong, or somebody from Shudder contact me. The Reef 2, or the sequel to the shark movie The Reef, which was an Australian film, shot using like real shark footage into cut. Like they managed to sort of meld them together. It was a damn good picture. When I'm saying The Reef's the next best fucking shark movie to Jaws, fucking hell, something's wrong. But still, it was a damn good thriller. I really enjoyed it. There's a sequel, same director, made in Australia, I believe, coming out supposedly on the 29th of July on Shudder, exclusively, I believe. Nowhere to be seen on Shudder Australia.
And I did see an ad for it.
So
whether that was advertising that it was going to be on Shudder US on that date, it played on my whilst I was watching on YouTube, which generally hits me with Australian ads.
So question here: you've got an Australian movie exclusive to your streaming service, but you fail to put it on the Australian version of that service. And when you're a joint that barely puts out any content, you need to come up with something. You need to keep idiots like me happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
understand.
I don't quite get it, because if it's not the case, don't fucking show me the ads.
Because I held back on it because I thought, okay, the 29th in America is the next day.
Yep.
So, okay, it's not the 29th here in Australia. It'll come out on the 30th. Nah. I mean, unless it's there now.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still on Shudder.
Oh, so am I.
Still subscribe to it. But there's just been points where I think I've got to cancel it for a little while and then just come back when there's some content up there.
There are times when I need $60.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these days I'm going to go, I need $60. I don't need to have this shit.
Yeah. I think the big thing for me is that, look, they finally updated some of the Joe Bob Briggs stuff, which I'd been complaining about. And they put it on the Just Joe Bob. They were, we don't have the film, so we put the Just Joe Bob stuff up, which I think great.
Happy with that.
But they still, like the Halloween ones, for example. Halloween's on there, but they took off Halloween 4 and 5, and I can't for the fucking life of me figure out why. Because you didn't have them with the films anyway.
Look, note to Shudder. I know you want to be like Netflix and fucking Disney and all that, and you want to be able to take things on and off and show how we've got, so much content that we can't leave everything on here.
Yeah.
You don't have the luxury.
No.
You need to put everything you have.
Correct.
When your catalogue is 600 films, you put them all on there.
Correct. And for me, there's no excuse, because the Just Joe Bob stuff is your content. So there's no reason you can't put that on. Now, we've just got 3 or 4 seasons. They've fucking backdated and put... But why did it take so long? You've had that shit in the can for a couple... Well, I think it's over 12 months that some of this content has been there. Put it on.
Yeah,
because honestly, at the moment, the only draw for me is the stuff like Joe Bob and the original shows like the cursed films. Although season 2 I wasn't so big on for that one.
Season 2 wasn't that good.
So you've got to fucking put it on there for me. Otherwise, even if I don't need the 60, I'm just going to take it back. I want it back.
Mate, some days I need $60 worth of KFC. Like I spent today. I can't believe that was fucking $50. Holy shit. Like I had to do a double take when she said it was $50. What have I bought?
Did you go,
I
you're not interested in a Shudder subscription, are you? I'll trade you for the KFC.
I scrutinised that fucking bill.
Did you stop at the window and say, can I just let me read this before I drive away?
I went in.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't-
Right.
So I was up front.
Yeah.
I know this is a side note, but fuck, $50 for KFC? Holy shit. The only thing I'm going to get out of it is a fucking nasty case of heartburn and a dose of this shit later on.
Yeah, probably.
I
You're
wouldn't
right.
have called it $50 well spent.
It's an expensive laxative, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. When I can just buy a thing of Metamucil for $10. All right, fuck, let's get off this.
Okay.
All right, let's take a break. And here's the trailer for 1997's Breakdown.
On May 2nd, the vacation is over.
Last time I saw her, she was with this guy in his truck. I swear I've never seen her before in my life.
Looks like she got away from you.
My wife did not leave me. Get down on the ground!
Until you live it,
Where is she?
you'll never know what hit you. Kurt Russell,
You better pray she's alive.
Breakdown, rated R, starts Friday, May 2nd everywhere.
Breakdown, 1997. Directed by Jonathan Mostow, who directed The Surrogates. Produced by Dino De Laurentiis, who produced King Kong Lives, and Martha De Laurentiis, who produced Raw Deal. The story was by Jonathan Mostow, and its screenplay was by Jonathan Mostow and Sam Montgomery, who wrote U571. Stars Kurt Russell as Jeff Taylor, J.T. Walsh as Red Barr, Kathleen Quinlan as Amy Taylor, and M.C. Gainey as Earl. The budget was $36 million, and the box office was $50 million worldwide. Dennis Quaid, Bruce Willis, Ed Harris, Mel Gibson, and Richard Gere were all considered for the lead role. I always love that sort of stuff, though.
Yeah.
They were considered. They weren't asked.
Is-
and most of them would have been like, nah.
I think it feels like every time you read that out, Dennis Quaid's been considered.
That one where it was a fucking list of a cavalcade of every great action star there was, and Michael Norrie.
Yeah, that's all right.
Michael Norrie was offered a gig. All right. Give us your thoughts on Breakdown, Jarrett.
Yeah, look, it was pretty good. I didn't watch it in the 90s. I must have got mixed up with bloody Black Dog or one of the other similar loves that was out there.
Yeah,
but
I definitely watched Black Dog.
yeah, it's a tight little bit of work. Obviously, it's not super high budget, but it gets a fair bit of exciting action, really, for a kind of smallish film.
Yeah.
Russell is always great value.
Mhm.
And he's perfect for this sort of role because he can pull off the kind of average bloke quite well.
Yep.
I think the problem for me is it kind of got stuck between the action and the thriller. I felt like
Yeah.
if it was going to go full action, well, we could have got a few more sort of exciting sequences on the road or something. If it was going to go full thriller, we probably could have got a bit more out of the short stretch where they're in the town, or a couple more twists or something along the way. So it
Yeah.
sort of gets stuck in the middle a little bit for me, where it doesn't necessarily really nail either of those two things. But in general, I think it's a fairly strong 3 for me.
Strong, a robust
three. There was points in there where I was pushing a little higher than that.
Well,
But
I
in
will
the end,
say
it was a
this.
3.
I would also give it a robust 3. Well acted, well directed, pretty tense in parts. I was pushing towards a 3.5 as we roll to the end. Like the ending is
So
where it's all happening.
Yep.
Like everything's happening, and it's just, you know, it's really, really well done, and you know, everything's sort of going along, and you're kind of finding out the full extent of everything. I was close to giving it a 3.5, but I come back to a little bit like what you said. There's two sort of reasons. There's a lot of coincidences and machinations that have to occur for this to happen. And some of it's not very well fleshed out. It just sort of happens. And I'm in agreement between the thriller and the action. I kind of, once we find out why they're doing it, I was little bit let down. I was kind of like, I thought this was like a serial killer type of thriller.
There was a part of it where
the wife's missing and he's trying to join the dots.
Yeah.
But it's not really that at all.
No, there was a part of it when it all comes out that I really liked, but as you said, there's a portion of it where you're left a little bit wanting on that side of things.
So, overall, robust 3. Definitely worth a viewing for anybody who's can't find anything in the 90s because of streaming services. Get onto YouTube and definitely give this one a run. I mean, Christ. You could do a hell of a lot worse than this. For instance, you could watch Double Trouble.
Yeah.
So
correct.
So I would definitely give this one a run. Now, straight out of the gate, simple yet effective premise.
Yes.
Helped measurably by the location. The fact that it's out in the desert.
Out in the sticks.
And really, really difficult to find help if you were to break down.
Mm.
And there's a lot of interesting characters on the road.
Yep.
So you're getting the big rig truckers, you're getting the kind of weirdos that that he runs into initially. So overall, that stuff is a real plus.
You're in the territory of this is relatable for anyone that's been on a long road trip through remote kind of areas.
Yeah. In fact, it even had a little Hills Have Eyes sort of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's always, you kind of, if you're on one of those trips, there's always, a little moment where you kind of realise, fuck, I'm way out in the middle of nowhere here, and if I did break down, I'd be in some real shit.
Yeah.
So this is kind of playing on that.
Yes. And I think it works really well. Works in the film's favour.
Yep.
Very much so, to have that kind of very simple premise backed up by a location that's extremely kind of atmospheric and somewhat suffocating. Mm-hmm. Weirdly, because it's such an open expanse, but it's suffocating in the sense that all you see is that sort of dirt and that brown sort of landscape.
Yep. I mean, they could have shot a number of these sequences on the same fucking stretch of road, and you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing looks like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a nice pickup to go there. Really good cast. Russell, always watchable. Kathleen Quinlan, only in it very briefly, but solid. Mm-hmm. JT Walsh. I believe this was the last movie he made before he had a heart attack. Man, that guy was a fucking kick-ass actor. Like, it's very sad that he died. He was only 51 or something, or 52.
Mm.
And I always remember things like A Few Good Men, and just that scene he's in Outbreak, which is just fucking awesome, where he's explaining, the fact that we're not going to bomb these guys. We're not just going to arbitrarily decide we're going to bomb this place. It's really, he really gets into his roles, and I think he does it here well, as kind of like I guess you'd call him the villain of the piece.
Yep.
Overall, well acted, I would say.
I think so.
Directorially, I think this might have been Jonathan Mostow's first movie. If not his first, it was very early on in his career.
Mm.
And he has a good, solid way with what he's doing. This reminds me a little bit of Jewel as well.
Yep.
Possibly not as well directed as Jewel was, but still knows how to use the landscape, use the vehicles, build some tension into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really important when, especially near the end here, when it really ramps up into a, sort of mano a mano on the road type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I also think the music worked quite well.
Mm.
It's not all that sort of noticeable or over the top in many parts, but there's points where there's a bit of action going on the roads and stuff. There was one part in particular that sounded a little bit like Hitchcock kind of stuff. There was screams and shit going on.
Yeah.
I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
And really kind of deepened the drama and the atmosphere.
The atmosphere, yeah, agreed. I would agree with that. I did read something that the actual composer had to do 2 scores. First one was rejected. So, interesting. Obviously didn't find the right balance at that stage, so the second one was much better.
Mm.
I really like the opening exchanges between him and his car and the other guy, where he gets to this petrol station and he starts kind of,
Earl
starts sort of giving him some shit and everything. It kind of builds a little bit of tension and says, foreshadowing what might be to come. He's kind of out of his element. They don't really belong here.
Mm.
and there's a little bit of friction in the air.
Yeah, a little bit of animosity from the locals. And
look, I'm blaming Earl.
Oh, fucking oath.
He drove out a fucking straight road with a car on it.
Yeah.
You give way, idiot. Come on.
Yeah.
You tell Earl to shove the fucking Bowser up your ass. Problem is, Earl's a toothless idiot who's after you.
Yeah.
Later on.
Earl doesn't sound like he'd take that well. He didn't say, sorry. Sorry, I was in the wrong. My bad.
Don't apologise, Earl. No, but look, I like that. There's an animosity there, and you kind of get the sense that people aren't happy with him.
Yeah, and they they use the diner to kind of really reinforce the fact that you're on your own here.
Yeah.
Because these people are
They're not interested
in helping you. You're the fucking city slicker. You're the outsider.
Yeah.
Which is, it's over the top, but it's there to really kind of heighten the isolation of the Russell, the city slicker. And Russell plays that pretty well. Like, he's kind of constantly talking, and he's doing exactly what the kind of perception of that sort of person is.
Yes.
Just like, you do this for me, check with your staff, do all this. And the guy's just like, fucking,
Yeah, I have no staff.
I'm not doing anything for you, basically. Like,
my personal favourite sequence, in terms of the sort of the suspense stuff, is when he actually finds Walsh on the road again and flags him down.
Yep. And
he basically looks at him like, I don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? And then the cop turns up, and I appreciate the filmmakers decided not to go with the double cross, the cops in on it type of thing.
Yep.
Which was good. But I like that sequence because he's kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. He must have got me mistaken with someone else. He's wearing a different hat, I think. And he's sort of saying, and then they search his truck and everything. So it almost comes across like Russell.
And they say, did you check the plates? And Russell's like, I fucking wasn't looking at that sort of stuff, like.
It almost comes across like Russell's not telling the truth.
Yeah.
Or he's kind of like having some sort of seniors moment or something.
Yeah.
Like he can't recognise the fact that perhaps he didn't actually meet this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that. It sort of threw up a little bit of an idea that maybe Russell's not quite. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. It introduced an element of, is it, as you said, is he losing it?
Yeah. Which, from a negative perspective, none of that pays off.
No, it was never really indulged much more than that.
No.
And we got past it very quickly to, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He was on the money. But yeah, like you said, it seemed purposeful at that point.
Tidy little thing. I like the fact that they bring Earl back.
Yep.
Into it. Then we get a sense of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which, spoilers. Obviously, Walsh is involved. So is Earl. So is several others.
Yeah.
Are involved in basically trying to screw him out of cash.
Yep.
And they kidnapped his wife to do so. I like the fact that he uses the ruse of, I can get you 90K, and then he comes out with dollar bills.
Yep.
And uses that to his advantage by cutting himself loose. All that stuff's really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's really well sort of handled. That's how he kind of gets back some of the upper hand.
Yep. I also liked, we get the part where he fucking goes down the river, which I didn't particularly love the scene, but I'm always over enthused when you see that there's actually a real person seemingly fucking flying down those rapids. Okay. I always appreciate the effort there.
Some poor prick's taking some lumps.
Yeah, some crazy stuntman's just gone, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh, what about saying, no, don't worry, I'll just jump in and I'll just,
Come on, Kurt. Get some fucking balls. Cruz would have done it.
Yeah, it just adds this level of impressive. It's a very impressive effort.
Yes.
When you see, okay, well, the car's going down, they've organised some stunts or whatever, but then you see a person fucking flailing in water that does look like it's moving pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I liked the scene where Russell climbs onto his truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of tense. He keeps looking out the window to see if he's, because he hears something, and Russell's kind of up on the top and things like that.
Yeah.
All that's kind of cool.
I also like that he dropped the gun.
Yes.
Because that seemed like something that probably would happen if you're bouncing around on a truck that's going that fast down the highway.
Like that as well. I've got things to say about the outcome, like why we're doing this.
Yep.
Unfortunately reserved for the negatives, which does take up a portion of the film, and that's where it kind of loses a bit of its steam.
Look, I've got a few more positives.
Yeah.
Wrapping Earl's neck in the car.
Yep.
And then fucking jamming the brakes on and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Kind of, inventive little way to go there. Now, I know you've got some negatives to talk about towards down the stretch.
Yeah.
But the thing that I did like is that when it comes back to it, it does kind of put this more sort of realistic spin on things that it's supposedly just, it's just, these people are fucking small time, really.
Yeah,
it's just a collection of small time idiots.
It's not some sort of fucking global or conspiracy of.
And at the end of the day, they're not super well organised.
No, they're not.
They're just.
I mean, Russell gets the better of them.
Yeah, that's right. And I like that it gets a little bit dark. That they kind of just go and, the bloke just comes home and starts fucking talking to his kid.
Yeah.
Playing with his kid and stuff. And then we move into the little standoff that involves the child.
But also, we've got her still under the truck.
Yes.
The fact that I like that. I really like that touch that she was still alive and still with the truck.
Mm.
Even though the cop had been there and everything like that.
Now, obviously, it could have gotten a little darker. But
Yeah.
we do get we get the happy ending, which was kind of what was expected. But I sort of enjoyed that that these kind of nasty pieces of work just went back to this domestic environment and acted like nothing was really happening.
It seemed like real.
Yeah, and it seems like, it adds to this whole kind of outsider in this fucking place where people don't necessarily want you and stuff like that. That they just kind of act like not much. There's not much really going on. That we haven't really done all that much. We've just fucking just a city slicker that came on in here. And
correct.
I did like that.
Me too. I did like that.
And I also appreciated when it's Deke, isn't it? Is the main guy's name in the character name?
Yeah.
I think it's Deke when he starts to kind of tell Russell, we're going to fucking come for you, whatever. And Russell just goes boom, and kicks him in the face mid sentence, and just kind of
And I really like the idea that he actually sends him down into that fucking pit and closes it up, and then covers it. Bit of common sense is in play.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they get released because one of their crew is still out and about. So it's not like they push their way out or anything like that. So I think a little bit of effort's gone into trying to give this some legitimacy.
Yeah.
In terms of, you're not just going to sit there rolling your eyes the whole time going, fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's got those elements of just, down the line action stuff, but they did try to at least give you a little something there to chew on, I guess. Yeah. I think the finale when they hit the road.
That is golden.
That's pretty good stuff.
That's really good stuff.
Again, there's a couple of minor things to mention down the track, but generally pretty good stuff.
Pretty good, and I'm a fan of the fact that an entire truck drops on Chuck while he's down at the bottom of the bloody ravine.
Yeah, that was a
nice way to get him.
Really rubbing it in, wasn't it?
But it felt like it needed to be that way.
Yeah.
Like it felt right. And I actually felt like I liked the fact that she kind of did it.
Yeah.
She was the one to let loose on it, yeah.
Because really, when we break it down, that's the only thing she does in the movie.
Exactly, yeah. Unfortunately, she does get hamstrung. She's not really there much at all. She's just kidnapped, and that's the end of that.
Yep.
And then we see her again at the end. That was my likes in a nutshell there.
Yep.
A solid grouping of decent stuff.
Yeah, some reasonable things going on there.
Now, the dislikes. There's a lot that has got to go right. Now, we already stated that these guys were pretty disorganised.
Yep.
And pretty average crims.
Yeah.
But a lot has to go right. Now,
yes.
When they first come across Walsh on the road, nobody seems that interested in getting in the truck with him.
No.
Nobody. Right?
And to me, he doesn't necessarily do a lot of convincing to say, let's get, your wife. He doesn't suggest if you hang here, I'll take your wife to the station to call. I mean, that would be suspicious. But as you said, they kind of make that suggestion.
Yeah.
When it seems like that's the plan all along.
And then Russell kind of says he's not interested in doing it. And then within a minute, the two of them have a quick chat. And next thing you know, she's fucking quickly rushing over
in the truck.
It seems really kind of convenient and very sort of... It's kind of fake. It's not very well earned.
There's a lot to swallow to get it rolling.
And I know that you've got Earl down at the bottom of the road there. He stops and he looks back up at her. And it could have gone that way, that they took her by force.
But to me, if you see that and you're Russell still making the calls, you say, let's stick together.
Yeah.
Because if one of us gets alone and this bloke's here fucking...
Well, my thing is, we had an incident with one of these guys, right? We ended up back at the garage and things got heated. I don't trust these people. Like, I'm not going to be trusting a long-haul trucker. I don't know about you, but if you've watched any true crime, I think hitchhiking with a long-haul trucker is not a good idea.
Vast generalisation there, but yeah.
But in terms of, it's probably not the most sound idea.
No.
I'm not saying that 90% of long-haul truckers are fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's not a sound idea to get into a car or a truck with somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. Especially alone and saying, we'll split up in this place we don't know. It'd
be better if the two of them got in there, and that was, I believe, what they were hoping for, weren't they? Because he does say something later on. Both of them were supposed to get in there, but he didn't go, or whatever. But the problem for me is that it takes very little convincing to split them up. See, this is the thing. When he then intercepts Walsh half an hour later, and Walsh goes, I don't know what you're talking about. That's where I thought we were going. The serial killer who's playing cat and mouse with him.
Yeah.
But then we kind of segue into, the three bozos and their, quite frankly, pretty average plan.
Yeah.
About how to squeeze money out of you.
Yeah.
Again, maybe I expected it to be more of a thriller.
This is where my issues came along, is that it doesn't, as we sort of touched on, it doesn't really commit to one or the other. It kind of tries to blend them, but doesn't really nail either of them. Some of the action sequences are really solid, but they're split apart by these thriller aspects that don't come together as well as you would hope.
No, and they don't.
I mean, the general premise is really strong.
Yeah.
But, as you said, once you start to think about her going into the truck and the convenience that it takes for this to happen, and
something as simple as he doesn't look under the car until Walsh has turned up.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a brief chat about this. As I said, when it comes to cars and my knowledge of them, that happens to me. My reaction is to kick the car and say, fuck, and that's about all I can do. I'll look under the hood. Yeah. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Shake my head.
I look at it and I say, there seems to be an engine in there still.
I pull out a dipstick. I take off a couple of knobs
tap the battery.
Yeah. I have a quick look at the battery things. And what I usually do, what I like to do, Jared, is I like to talk very robustly about how I know that, how I know what's going on here, but I don't. So, how
I come back to my wife and say, yep, car's definitely fucked. Any idea what it is? Yeah, it's the car and it's fucked.
You know how he looks? I said to you, he only had to look under the car once.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, again, he was a city slicker, so the whole idea was he wouldn't know how to fix a car. Yeah. But if he just drops down straight away to look under the car, he sees those things disconnected, and they're back on the road. Yeah. Right? Me, of course, I see them, assume they're meant to be like that.
You poke your head back in the window and say, these wires are always here, aren't they? They're always hanging out like that.
No, my wife says, Adam, do you think that maybe we can reconnect them? No, they're meant to be like that.
Yeah.
Now open the hood so I can poke around under there.
I'm looking under the car. My wife would say to me, do you think we should put those wires back together? I'd say, what wires? I can't see any fucking wires.
Yeah, exactly. So,
hopeless.
I understand that, idiots like us would have got caught out.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? But I guess what I'm saying is he doesn't get caught up by the fact those two things those wires are disconnected.
Mm.
He realises they need to be reconnected and he reconnects them. Now, if he looks under the car instantly, then that negates the whole thing. One
question for me is, if those wires are disconnected, how does he get going down the road before something goes beep? I'm assuming as soon as he fires up the engine, or it doesn't even fire
Were
up.
they disconnected midway through the car?
It was Earl still hanging under the car.
Hanging under the car like fucking Max Cady.
Yeah, Earl was thinking, I'm going to count to 200. That should get us far enough away from the
And then when he falls
garage.
out, he's in an area full of rakes.
Yeah. You see Russell about to drive away from the garage, and you hear this: 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You hear something? No.
Was it on a timer? I don't know. Look, and again, that's a good question, Jared. That doesn't make any sense.
No, probably
because
not.
If you're looking at it, he just reconnects them. The whole electrical system comes back online.
Maybe if you know how cars work, it might make sense, but it just doesn't pass the smell test.
No, I know how cars work, and when that happens,
when those wires are unplugged, everything's fucking beeping straight away.
Exactly. So that doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't pass any tests.
No.
Right, and so. There's too many contrivances to get there, which I understand it's a movie, but that's the kind of thing that, if you can't swallow that bit, then it's harder to accept the film as a whole.
Yep.
You see that as being an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an issue.
It was.
All right, what else you got?
I had a bit of an issue with the stuff in the town.
Yeah,
because I felt like where that was where it was going into kind of thriller territory, and we were going to squeeze some real drama out of this. But it doesn't really work all that well.
It doesn't spend a lot of time there.
No,
and it doesn't sort of lay on some clues of what we might be going on with.
Yeah,
although we do talk to that dumb guy out there who turns out to be heavily involved.
Yeah. Initially, though, like you get. That was because I believe that he'd already kind of revealed himself by that point.
Had he?
Yeah.
Well, he was in town. No, because I thought it was in town when he.
No, that was at the diner. Where he talks to him, and then
take him to the town to do that.
We're going to get So he's in the bank, and I thought we were going to play with that a little bit, and the bloke sitting next to him talking about the car loan, who you don't know whether he's in on it or not, so he clams up and stops talking. And
interesting. That would have been interesting.
We're going to squeeze a bit out of that. I mean. The bank manager, rightly, is kind of asking him, are you sure you're okay? Because he's sitting there sweating like fucking Patrick Ewing on the other side of on the other side of the bench, and he's kind of jittery and carrying on. But it wrapped up really quickly, and then we were kind of back to where we were. So I thought we might squeeze a little bit more out of that.
Yeah, I think that's where we deviated. But see, we'd already deviated. Because we had Walsh come clean as to he was involved, and then he had all these cronies. And I feel like that took you out of the thriller mentality and went more down the action route.
Yeah.
Speaking of the diner, Kurt bursts into the toilet. Some fucking woman on her hands and knees having a chunder. And I was just like, Kurt, knock at the very least. I mean, she looked disturbed.
She's really going for it. And doesn't she look up and say, I'll be with you in a minute? Well, you don't need to be. I don't need anything from you at this point.
Exactly. I just thought you were my wife.
Oh, God.
Kurt, knock on the door, mate, and ask.
Yeah.
So you all right in there? Or honey, is that you?
Judging by the look of her, she's just eating $50 worth of KFC and she's going through some shit.
Well, I'm going to say I'll be exactly like her later on tonight. So when my wife bangs in through the toilet door and here I am, sweaty and clammy and fucking pale, vomiting everywhere.
Christ.
No, yeah, I'll say that. You should knock next time.
This is your own fault.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to see this, but you've only got yourself to blame because I'm pale, sweaty, in my crackers.
I don't know why, but when he comes out, the two blokes are sitting there laughing. I thought, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. I'd be laughing if I just made someone walk.
Oh, sorry. Jesus, hard night, was it? So, getting back to all that stuff is that their plan. I understand. Like, I get what you're saying. You like that they were kind of. It was sort of low level buffoonery that they were doing.
Yep.
But their plan is it's just ridiculous.
Mm.
You're trying to squeeze 90 grand out of Kurt Russell. Yeah, I mean. He could be a fucking homeless man, for all you know. He just happened to have a good car.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a guy living on bloody the dole.
He could be. All his cash is going to that car. Every fucking paycheck comes along and he's sitting there going, how do you know he's not sitting in the car going, fuck, I rue the day I bought this thing because I'm paying it every fucking paycheck. And then when the electrical
system suddenly goes out, then you think to yourself, shit, the lemon. You know what I mean?
I'm not even going to be able to drive it back to the dealership to yell at somebody about all this.
And my cell phone is one of those really old analog ones, so I can't even get service.
It looked like a remote control.
I love those ones that have the little mini flip at the bottom.
yeah.
Stupid. But also, why didn't you just steal his car? Like, well, if you're that. Why is it? Because I thought it was human trafficking initially. I've got no idea why I went there.
You're giving these blokes too much credit.
Exactly.
I mean, the best that they could muster for their plan was for one of them to pretend to have kind of some mental kind of struggles.
And a little bit of ignorance. Yeah, I never spoke to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's the best that they can muster. And you're thinking they're capable enough of trafficking humans.
I misread the situation, Jared. But then there was 1,000 missing persons posters, so I thought everyone was getting trafficked.
I mean, looking at what was going on, I'm still not 100% convinced that the people in the diner weren't involved and that they also concocted the vomiting woman gag in the middle of
it. Yeah, he's coming. Go to the toilet and get on you all fours. You're the only female presence in the place. Get in there.
Yeah. That's the only thing that convinced me that it was real, that when he burst in, she seemed to be in mid-fucking chuck.
Yeah, she committed.
I'll be with you in a minute.
She committed to it. Yeah, so their plan seems to be kind of really not worth it. Not worth kidnapping people.
Mm.
And again, I think they make mention of another bloke. So I think
the
idea is that they were responsible for all those missing persons.
Yeah, and you're clearly not getting... You're clearly not making bank out of it. Earl's still driving a fucking beater.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he opens the back of his truck, there's nothing in it. He says something at one point. He says something. He tells the copper, "I gotta go. I got a big haul to make. There's nothing in the back."
Well, that's right. Yeah, I'm currently, I'm on a run to so and so. I'm like, what are you fucking? What are you trucking?
Unless he's trucking there to. Unless he's trucking there to pick it up and truck it back.
I've got a truck full of oxygen to deliver by 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh, sorry, I've opened the back door. It's gone. Whoops. I better call ahead. No. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll kidnap a couple of...
That'll fix it. Yeah, I'm gonna call ahead. Where they weigh him in there, like, it looks like you've lost a bit of oxygen on the way. You're fucking underweight. Yeah.
Well, that oxygen was worth 90 grand. Squeeze it out of the local city slicker asshole who's coming through town. Kidnap his wife. Yeah, what I mean is to
I mean, I get that you don't like city slickers in your town, but can't we just talk?
And honestly, it was your fault the oxygen fucking came out of the truck, mate. So don't blame him.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
No, obviously
The coppers should have been onto it.
Yeah.
What are you?
You're talking about a long haul.
What do you got to drop off?
No, but the thing is, I'm assuming he's driving somewhere to pick something up.
Pick it up.
Coming back. But yeah, the oxygen thing makes for more amusing
But why?
commentary.
But even so, like, you don't often take the empty truck on the highway. Don't they fucking fill it up, then you pick something else up and bring it back?
I don't know how it works, but in this case, these guys were smuggling here. You know, they didn't care that there was nothing in the back.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot that they weren't actually using their logbooks.
Yeah, exactly. He was not a long-haul trucker. He was
One person.
secreted beneath the car. But it just felt kind of like small time. And although I understand that, it just kind of felt like it's a lot to go through to make 90k.
Yeah, split 4 ways.
So what are you getting out of it? 22 and a bit K?
Yeah. 22.5 each.
I can't retire on that.
Yeah.
I just killed somebody.
22.5 and I say, when's the next one? Because this has only just covered the rent.
Look, I could only kill double figures. I mean, and then I'm out.
Yeah. The rent on my trailer's not paid up.
Correct. So a lot of shit going on there for very little payoff, really.
Yeah.
If you're the villains, you're not getting much.
Yep.
If not anything, really.
Mm.
And my last thing was, it seemed kind of weird that he would go into the house when he knows his wife's in that little thing, and I'm sure he would have been able to find a crowbar or something to crack that thing open.
Yeah, you could probably... It was only a padlock, wasn't it?
Yep.
You could probably
just a
bust
hammer
something off. Yeah. I'm sure you could get the job done with something.
So it seemed weird he went into the house.
Yeah,
they
cut out the scene. They cut out the scene that, you know, there was a montage of him with fucking hammer, whack, crowbar, electrical tools.
Yeah. You see there with a fucking oxyacetylene torch comes
still going. I'd better go inside and get the key.
Ah, shit! I get the key there. It just felt like there was no reason for him to do that.
Mm.
Like he could have stayed in the garage.
Yeah,
got her out and left quietly.
Yep.
Because I don't think they were going to come and check.
No.
Because they didn't think that he was there.
They didn't think he was there, no.
So, overall, that's kind of a little bit of a...
Yeah, I didn't mind that, though.
Like, they're small, it's a minor, but still, kind of silly.
Yeah. My issue down the stretch was the bloke that had played very little part.
Oh, the bearded guy? Fat guy?
Character. There's a point on the road... after one of the other ones gets fucking backslid in his car, where it shows a shot of the bearded guy kind of mumbling to himself as he's trying to run Russell off the road, and honestly, he sounds like fucking Muttley from the bloody Wacky Races or whatever. He's sitting there going,
Yeah.
It's just like that bloke had played such little.
He
such
probably
little part.
wasn't necessary. And then with the 90 grand, you get 30k each.
Well, that's it. I think
you cut him out.
I get the. I appreciate that they didn't decide we're going to go and fucking spend a whole bunch of time with all of the villains.
No.
So I'm okay with that part of it.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, just give me the 3 down the stretch.
Yeah, you didn't need.
Well,
him.
you've already rubbed one of them out. So just give me the 2. Just give me the truck and the other car.
Yeah.
It probably, you've probably planned some things going on with the extra car and kind of wedging them in between it, which did look really good.
Mm.
If that's the case, just put old mate with the beard in the background a little
Nameless,
more.
faceless goons.
Yeah, just give him a
Do
couple
that
of
bit.
lines while they're fucking running that shit in the town or whatever.
Yeah. Well, really, you should have just stuck with JT Walsh and Earl.
Mm.
That would have been, because they were your quintessential villains.
Yeah.
That'd
Earl
be
was
pretty-
dead by then, though, wasn't he?
Was he?
Earl was dead.
Oh, yeah,
And then
Earl
the
was
other
dead.
trucker was the guy that...
Yeah, the young guy
Yep.
who'd played
Billy.
the idiot, and then the bearded fella.
Yep.
I thought there was going to be a sequence where Russell slams on the brakes and the two of them shoot each other.
Yeah,
They
that's
both
right.
point
I
their
thought
guns.
something like that was going to
Yeah.
happen too. I still think they should have done it, to be
I
honest.
think that would have been awesome.
Yep.
If you want personal opinion, I think it would have really jazzed things up.
Yeah, when they make part 2,
Mm.
keep that on the,
Kurt's a bit
on
old
the
now,
shot list.
although is he also like Cruise and Stallone?
Yeah, just go and meet Tom's personal trainer, and figure that shit out.
Well, Kurt's in his 70s too. So, once again,
Well,
Tom.
Death Proof wasn't that long ago.
Tom's
It
got
was-
50,
he was a
15
bit
years
older.
on his bloke. So he's allowed to jump off things. That's it for me. Did you have anything else that you
No.
felt needed to be raised? In
No,
the
generally
historic
that was
side of things.
that was it for me.
Yeah, I
Pretty pleased
I
with
thought
it
as
overall.
far as those films go, and I hadn't seen it before, I was pretty happy with what I got,
Yeah,
and it ticked some boxes that have,
it did. And it seems like when we go for these movies nowadays, we don't get as much of just this kind of down the line.
yeah. Everything needs to be a little bit more complicated.
Yeah,
And I think that's one of the strengths of this, I guess, even though I wasn't really happy with the way the villains, their final sort of plan, they were pretty simple in
Yep.
what they were trying to do. Whereas in this day and age, everything's got to have a hook and there's got to be something really...
yeah. Your crew's probably got to have a fucking hacker in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I appreciate the kind of stripped back, simplified version of what it was.
Mm.
So overall, very solid.
Yeah, good.
That's Breakdown. Find us on Podomatic, iTunes and Spotify and all other places you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We have a Facebook page at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, and we're on Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com. We're also on Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Please make sure you rate, review, ask us questions, send us emails, put forward films so we can ignore you for 6 months. Things like that. But I guarantee you we will always get to these. As a big shout out to Matt for putting this out there. And next episode, Matt, we are going to follow up on the other one that you asked us to do, which was a smackdown between Lethal Weapon films. Jared, we've been talking about this for a while. Lethal Weapon 2 versus Lethal Weapon 3. I'm a supporter of Lethal Weapon 3.
You put out there that Lethal Weapon 3 was the better one.
You are not.
Well,
You're a
last
supporter
time
of
I watched
Lethal
them, I think 2 was,
Better film.
looking better, so...
I'll tell you where things are going to get tight here on this one. Leo gets.
Yeah.
How much time Leo gets, because that could hurt a film, unfortunately. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. So that's our next episode coming up. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.